Welcome to episode 1 of Learning Latvian through folk song translation. Today we're going to be looking at a very famous Latvian folk song called Pūt vējiņi, which means blow wind. Here on the left you see the Latvian lyrics, Pūt vējiņi dzen laiviņu aizdzen mani kurzemē. Pūt vējiņi dzen laiviņu aizdzen mani kurzemē. Over the course of this lesson, you are going to get a sense of why I made the translation choices that I did in the version on the right side. And just a warning, this lesson is intended for a more intermediate or advanced audience. Let's start out with a discussion of diminutives. You see a few of these used in the text. First, vējiņi, and then laiviņu. This type of iņi or iņu ending is typical for a diminutive in Latvian. And one would generally use a diminutive to indicate that the object of discussion is somehow small or dear to the speaker. In this case, the word vējiņi is a diminutive of the word vēji, which in turn is the vocative of the word vējš, which means wind. Again, this lesson is intended for a somewhat more advanced audience, so if the concept of vocative case is unfamiliar, I would encourage you to get to know it before delving into these lessons, because knowing your cases is essential to learning Latvian. Here you see that laiviņu is the diminutive version of the word laivu, which is the accusative of the word laiva, meaning boat. So in this case you have a small boat or a dear boat. One reason to use a diminutive, again, is to convey that meaning of dearness or smallness. Another reason might be that it just sounds nicer. It has a nicer rhythm in the context of the lyrics. Here you can compare the version on the left, which does not use diminutives. So reading through it, Pūt vēji dzen laivu aizdzen mani kurzemē. Compare that to the version on the right, Pūt vējiņi dzen laiviņu aizdzen mani kurzemē. And you can decide for yourself if you think that the diminutive does add something in terms of sound here. Moving on to one additional note on word choice in translation. I have seen the word dzen translated elsewhere as push the boat, for example, or lead me to kurzemē. In this case, I prefer the word drive because it's closer to the connotation of the word dzen, which comes from dzīt. So to achieve the result of moving something, for example, with force or threats, which is pretty much driving something or someone. There isn't really that connotation, I think, of pushing or leading as much as there is of driving. One other choice that I faced as a translator with respect to this folk song had to do with this word aizdzen in the second line. So you see that dzen is used in the first line, aizdzen is used in the second line. That aiz prefix actually would add a connotation of away or over, so driving something or someone away or driving something or someone over to somewhere. To me, this doesn't sound quite as nice as just simply saying, drive me to kurzemē. Fairly uncharacteristic for me, I decided not to be so very literal in this translation. Now, with all of these notes in mind, hopefully you're able to revisit the translation and the original and understand some of the decisions that were made when translating. Hopefully this was helpful.